Well, hello everyone. Looks like we just went live because I'm seeing some people are starting to join our session. So, welcome to everyone who is here. We'll get things going here in just a second because it's always good courtesy to give everyone a minute to tune in. When we've done webinar presentations in the past, we typically have people joining us from all different parts of the world. But one of our favorite things to do before we start is reading where everybody is joining us. So, there's actually a little chat box at the bottom window there where you can type in your location. So, where are you joining us from? Which city or state are you in? Are you in the US or are you even in the US at all? Are you international? Both Bruce and I are actually located in Southern California, and we're enjoying some really, really nice weather today. So, I hope it's similar for everybody else. But let's see where everyone's kind of tuning us in from. Oh, wow, we got some people already telling us they're from Kentucky. Hello out to Kentucky. Got people in Maryland, people up in the Bay Area. Hello up there in San Francisco. People from Arizona. Really cool. I'm sure it's really hot in Arizona right now. It's got to be. I got people from Cleveland, Ohio, Chicago, a few people from Chicago. And I always mention this. Bruce is originally from Chicago, the Windy City. So hello to fellow native Chicagoans. I got people up in Vancouver. Very cool. Wow, someone from the UK across the pond. Hello. I have people from Minnesota, Los Angeles, Chicago, more people from Chicago. A lot of people from Chicago. That's pretty cool. I got Southern Colorado, Northern California. We got all kinds of places around here. London, again, across the pond, San Diego. Wow, man, we got people from all likes of the world. This is really, really cool. I mean, it's something perspective is everything, right? Where 20 years ago, we didn't have the technology to do a meeting like this or a webinar. It was always like using landlines. So it's always cool to just the fact that we can all join like this in a big webinar. So really cool. Well, thanks everybody for letting us know we are joining. We very much appreciate you taking the time with us today. So we'll go ahead and get started now. So first, let me just introduce myself. My name is Dylan Vibert. I'm the senior producer here at Bruce Clay Incorporated, and I'm involved with all of our video productions and webinars, and I'll be acting as the moderator for the Q&A we'll have later in the presentation. Now, it's probably safe to say that most of you are probably somewhat with SEO already, and I'm sure you all know how important standing out on a SERP is for your business. But the topic that is just dominating everything about business these days is AI. There are so many changes happening because AI is evolving at a rate that is just it's hard to comprehend. And if we're being honest, it's kind of overwhelming what's happening because it seems like every major company is adapting a new AI standard that is reshaping how we do business across the board. So some of you are probably feeling these changes already, and some of them have actually been probably good changes. I mean, like perhaps ChatGPT or other AI tools have made workflows faster and more efficient, and that's all great. But you're also probably dealing with some major disruptions to your company, mainly your website traffic. I mean, the question is, how do we make our websites stand out now when everybody just seems to be using Google I/O, ChatGPT, other popular LLMs? There's all these different options now. And I mean, I'll just ask the question, is organic ranking even relevant anymore? As an SEO agency, we are getting these kinds of questions a lot. And I'm sure these AI changes have been causing a lot of dread and anxiety about the future of web traffic. I mean, how do we deal with this? Well, we do have good news, and it all stems from a fundamental truth that we have been saying for over 30 years. SEO is done when search engines stop changing things and all of your competition has died. So until that happens, SEO is still very much alive and it is going to be vital to your business. However, SEO does evolve, and what we're experiencing right now with AI is a big evolution. So it begs the question, like, how do we stand out with AI in search? And this leads us to the topic of today's webinar. It's the 5 ways to stay visible in an AI-driven landscape. We wanted to give you some tips on how you can stay ahead of these AI changes because we sincerely believe that virtually every business is going to have to adapt or die. It's just the reality of what's happening now with search. This is why it's great that you're here because an SEO expert like Bruce Clay has spent countless hours studying this. He's been experimenting, and we've been executing what needs to happen in order to stand out. Now, if you haven't heard of Bruce before, I'm going to give you just a quick backstory before I hand it over to him. He started his SEO company in 1996, and that was before even Google existed. That was back in the days of like Ask Jeeves or whatever else they were using back in those prehistoric days of the internet. He has since grown the company to where it is now on multiple continents across the world. He has trained thousands and thousands of students for decades, and he's been a key presenter at major search conferences like SMX, Affiliate Summit, and Brighton. He's won multiple awards, and he's quite literally considered the father of SEO. I mean, don't believe me? Just look it up right now. Father of SEO, see what comes up. Now, obviously, Bruce isn't going to tell you everything you need to know about optimizing for AI in this webinar. There's just not enough time for that, but this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we can teach you. As mentioned before, SEO is just never done. That means it is a constant learning process. And that's why it's crucial for you all to stay till after Bruce's presentation because we have some special offers regarding our SEO training program. It's a program that will offer you tons of SEO training resources, and you can even learn directly from Bruce in person. Not virtually, but in person. So be sure to stick around for that. And after we're done with our presentation, we'll be taking some questions from you at the end. It's always great to provide some answers to your questions. And the way you can submit your questions is in the Q&A box below in the Zoom window. You can type your questions while Bruce is giving his presentation, and I'll be reviewing them as they come in. But just FYI, you can also type them in that chat box where everyone listed where they're from. But sometimes they get lost in the thread a little bit, and it's just better to submit it in the Q&A box. But either option is fine. So we'll get to all of that soon. But I just want to say again, thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate it. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to Bruce now, and we'll chat again in a minute. Bruce, it's all yours.
Okay. Um, as a sort of an opening comment, last week I presented a couple times at SMX in Boston. And as you could imagine, for an SEO and a pay-per-click conference, the number one topic was actually AIO and what we're going to do about it, and AI mode and what it's going to do to us. If you are able to stick to the Q&A, I'll get into a little bit more of the news that came from the conference. I think you'd appreciate that. That's going to be very, very useful for you. Today's presentation is pretty much new. In the AI world, every morning it's pretty much new. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of changes. Please, if you want to follow us and do that, here's how. But I think that, and honestly, you could sign up for our training. I do monthly Q&As and all sorts of stuff. It's a good way to stay current. Follow us, subscribe to us. It'll keep you current. Anyhow, the real presentation today is how to stay visible. Now, here's an interesting set of statistics. And by the way, Ahrefs just published a very, very nice report where they documented that on average, there's a 36% drop in actual traffic to a website. Now, and by the way, you may hear about this. It's referred to as the alligator. It's the graph structure. Generally, the graph is going along fine, and then what we're seeing is impressions go up while traffic goes down, thus the mouth of the alligator. And that approach is because there's a lot more tracking of references to sites coming out of the top of the SERP, but you're getting less traffic to your website because organic traffic, your normal organic listings, are getting pushed further and further and further down the page. One of the things also that contributes is zero clicks have gone up because of questions, but even the layout of the search result page is quite a bit different. Now, as a data point, we have shifted a lot of what our focus is to the SERP itself. I mean, if Google's going to push down organic, something's going to take its place So we optimize for that something. We optimize the whole SERP. There's 44 features that we care about. There are features that nobody cares about, but there's features that matter by keyword, and we optimize the whole SERP. So it isn't just SEO, it isn't just pay-per-click, it isn't just AIO, it's everything you see. So we have a very widespread area that we focus on. Now, um, this the way to start to get ranked in AIO is to fix everything that's broken. And what we're finding from people who come to us is that a great many of them do not have a current audit. They haven't done an audit in years, if ever. And we're finding that you really kind of need an audit. Now, for some of you who know, our audits are pretty much, I'll use the word legendary. They're hundreds of pages. They're very detailed and they're not AI generated. This is human intervention required. And, but, you can have an assessment which is very detailed still and tells you what you need to do to get even qualified to be in the game. And so I recommend that one of the things you think about is doing an assessment or audit on your site. Uh, do it yourself. There's plenty of instructions out on the web. But whatever you do, I think you ought to start by understanding what the weakest link is and fixing that. The other thing is that because we're looking at how to rank anywhere on a web page, um, we really kind of need to know that people are talking to each other. Does your SEO team talk to your content team? Other than to just say, here, I need something. Does your content team talk to your pay-per-click team? Does your SEO and pay-per-click team actually have conversations that are intelligent with your web team that are implementing all the changes? Is your web team implementing things, but marketing doesn't know about it? So it's becoming more of a cross-functional exercise in order to get ranked. All right, I'm going to get into a couple of uh, really strategies. As I alluded to, it's a SERP strategy. We have to assume that. Uh, Google has at least last time they really bothered. There's 300 variables in the algorithm, but there's another couple hundred that I call micro signals that aren't really stated as algorithm. Like EEAT is not really an algorithm variable, but you certainly have signals. So there's a lot of those. And what we have to do is we have to be able to address uh, generally with what the search engine view of our business is. That's through our website and mentions. We have to actually impress all of those. Um, Now, when we refer to search, I do want you to remember there's different people that are leaders in the industry. Some are saying it's search everywhere optimization, and some are saying anywhere search optimization, or folks, any place that somebody does a search matters. So what we're going to need to be able to do is pay attention to the SERP. And the SERP could be YouTube. It could be Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok or anywhere. If they have a search, we want to know how to rank in it. But we aren't only doing that. We have to understand that what historically happens is that people may use multiple sources. Um, Ask the person in the coffee shop. I mean, there's a lot of sources, but the gatekeeper seems to be Google. That when it's time to actually do a transaction, that people go to Google. And if they do a search, the first thing they see is that entire SERP, not organic. And so organic isn't the only game. Do you have to do it? Sure. And um, we're recommending that you understand that whole structure. Now, the last item on this slide is that you can do a lighthouse report. It's actually out of the DevTools area, but there's some really nice ability to do reports and get it all working. And I'd recommend that you certainly look at how you get your reports. But you need to know what's going on. You need to know where your traffic is coming from, but it all seems to funnel through Google. So pay attention to that. Um, Now, there's a bunch of schema type things. It turns out AI, at least the way they are referring to it, they are attesting to the fact that schema is important. Now, you can certainly rank an AI without doing crazy schema stuff. But if you're in a niche, you're going to need to use schema to help eliminate ambiguity. Um, you get into the query deserves diversity problem if it's too ambiguous. So use it to help in every way. Rich results are good. You're going to want to have, and when I'm talking about AI, I'm talking about AI looks at everything. AI looks at your Gmail and they'll look at your YouTube history and they'll look at a lot of different things, and you're going to need to pay attention to all of them. You also want to look at your competitors. Now, we've been talking about content gap analysis for a very, very long time, but in this area of AI, your competition is doing a bunch of stuff. It came out at SMX that everybody is trying this and trying that. Our view is you can't just do the fundamentals. You have to have, a synergistic view of everything in order to win. Um, but you can do that. And A/B snippets, it helps. But I'm going to tell you right now what this says is there's two things. If traffic is dropping, conversion matters more. Just understand it. If I'm going to get limited traffic, I need to know it converts. And that's going to be one of my focus points. So I'm working on all of that all at the same time. Strategy two is questions. It turns out that people that use AI ask questions. How do I? What is? Many of them are zero-click questions, but you also want to be able to address the questions. Now, the people also ask, those are very short snippet questions. They're not, 15 words. They're, short. And so what we have to be able to do is understand how do we get our content to answer questions. Now, I'll give you a data point. If you go to bruceclay.com, my site, go to the blog, there's something called an FAQ on every blog post. It's a verbose answer. It's not a one-hit wonder paragraph. Those, in my personal opinion, they're terrible. You want a real answer, have some meat on it, and actual steps for how do I do it. Now, you'll find that on all my blogs. Now, when I say that, I've got 2,000. You look at my site, the search engine spiders my site, it finds 2,000 Q&As across the entire site. That helps make you an expert. So understand you're going to need to look at the questions. You're going to need to be able to answer them. Also, the concept of a backlink. Now, we know the backlinks are far less important, but the AI prominence is important. It doesn't need to be a link. It can be a mention, but variety counts, and you want to have it from something that is high trust. And high trust really helps. Wikipedia, by the way, folks, Wikipedia is a big strength in AI world. It turns out that a vast majority of the LLMs use Wikipedia to determine what should rank. And we use our own prewriter.ai tool, and I'll mention it later, but it helps you with all of this. What are the gaps? What are the personas and their pains, and how do we write to those? Those are all part of it. Um, as of like yesterday, reportedly, there is a Google Search Console statistic now that will report your AIO traffic. The problem is in AIO, you could rank number one, two, three, four, five, but it's reported as you rank number one because AIO as a group is number one. So anywhere in AIO is a number one ranking according to Search Console. It doesn't give you any kind of determination of, hi, I'm in AI, but I'm number five. That part doesn't come. But you're going to want to, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. So that's why it's important to all of us. Um, there's a lot of people that are doing different kinds of things. We've started seeing comments, HTML comment tags with schema in them. Um, and people are assuming that AI is going to pick that up, but we didn't really want to have that much going to search. We got to be careful of that. I think it's only a matter of time until that is a problem. Um, yeah, we have to be able to do that. Now, how many, two things. We believe that you really want one robust answer per page, one FAQ. And it's a detailed FAQ. As I said, you'll see it on my blogs. But when you have an item list, um, common knowledge seems to be you want 3 to 5. I think you can have 20 and it works just fine. Um, but you can't have too few. If it's under 3, for sure, it's not a list. So you're going to pay attention to this. You're going to have more items. Pre-writer, I'm not going to, it's one of our products. I'm not going to harp on it. What you can do is go to prewriter.ai, no credit card. You sign up. We send you 20 tokens. It's a token-based system. We send you 20 tokens free. Just play with it. You'll see what it does. But it does actually address all of these issues. I think that in the world of AI, if you don't play with something like this, it's a mistake. And by the way, it's not one tool, it's about 30. It's a lot of tools. It'll convert and it'll translate. It'll go from an outline to a PowerPoint. I mean, it'll do an awful lot of stuff. Please go play with it. So I really need to mention on that. Authority and topical expertise. Now, in this area, topical expertise is commonly addressed through a siloing structure. If your site is too big and you can't silo the whole site, which by the way would be a mistake, and you can only silo a portion of your website, that's something called a cluster. It's a sub-silo. If you can do that, then certainly do it because that helps the search engine understand that you are, in fact, a subject matter expert. And that's, how the search engine's going to put you at the top. Authority is also an interesting thing. And I want to just sort of comment on the structure. If I want to get into AI did not recreate 25 years of Google spiders. They're nowhere near an algorithm with 300 variables and micro influencers and anything else. It's not that complex. But what it does is it simply asks the search engine, do you trust this site? They don't have to recreate it. Google AIO has access to Google. So they simply say, do you trust it? What's it about? Is it good? Is it authoritative? And the fact that the search engine has already determined that makes it far simpler for AI to trust that site. So I believe that if you're not in the top, at least page 12, 14, maybe 20, if you're not in that area in the Google search results or the Bing search results, you're not going to get in the AI. If you're not, and as I said, Wikipedia can help, and all these um, ability for you to get mentioned everywhere, right? All of that helps. Prominence is a big keyword here. Yes, that all helps. And in aggregate, it allows you to rank. We have figured out for many of the questions, if you take an FAQ question from one of my blog posts and search for it, probably three-fourths of the time I'm in AIO number one. I mean, seriously, you ought to try it. And so you can do that. You can word and structure and get your site so that you can do that. Co-citation, you guys can read this as well as I do. You're going to have to actually have authority within your website. You should have author pages. Now, I know author came, author went, author's back. Uh, you're going to need to have authors on your site that are respected authors. So that's going to be a big part of what you're going to be working on. Um, there's all sorts of things that you can do. You can put in quotes, you can put in citations, you can put in when the person spoke at a conference, so and so. There's You can allude or specify specifics that are going to work. There are prompts that you can put in, and there are things that help. But heading tags are critical because it helps AI know what you're talking about. Those kinds of things are important. Many times, okay, I'll tell you how people kind of get it wrong. I can go to chat and I could put in a keyword and say, give me 1,200 words. And you're going to get 1,200 words. And that 1,200 words is phase one, but most people don't know it. And all it is strung together words that seem to make sense to AI. But that wasn't why you did it. What you really want to do is put in the keyword and say, what persona would query that? Then you say, for that persona, what are their pain points? Then you take the pain points and the main word and say, write an article now that is about this main word, but addresses this pain point. Now you got yourself an article that'll convert better. But nobody does that. Then they forgot that phase one was just stringing words together. There's a recursive level that you can apply that allows AI to improve itself. I can say, run these tests, and the AI will run the test against what it just wrote and self-improve. That's phase two. And there's a phase three and four. Our pre-writer has about 190, 200-ish different prompt levels that uh, you couldn't type them all in a day. You couldn't manually do that. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of work to not just do plain old vanilla AI work. You're going to have to understand the objective, and your writers are going to need to be trained on how to do that, and your non-writers as well. You're going to have to do that. Now, what we have done effectively is we've been able to take a 4.5, 5 hour writing exercise down to 2 hours. That's a significant advantage. We've been doing that for a year with our own clients. The problem is that it really becomes a little bit harder to implement everything. You're going to need to, do you do podcasts? Do you do things? The AI can do anything. We can take a podcast and make it into a PowerPoint. We can take a podcast and make it into an article. Um, AI can do an awful lot of transformation, and that's what we care about very, very strongly. Um, so we have to do that. Now, strategy four, brand. I'm going to make a simple statement. You've already heard me say you need to be in Wikipedia if you can. Um, and it only needs to be a mention. But operationally, you're going to want to really get as many mentions as you can. That means that press releases and digital PR is becoming a little bit more important. It means that engaging is going to be more important. It means that doing things like um, PDFs and ebooks and things that are not necessarily going to be directly indexed are going to be more important because you're going to get those mentions. You're going to have to do that. Um, Review schema, I think, is important, and people don't understand how to use it very well. I think that's an area that you have to focus on as well. Um, Reviews are very, very important. Now, testimonials and reviews are not necessarily the same, but a review is don't focus on just testimonials, is the message. You're going to have to do reviews. Um, Now, there's a problem. The Federal Trade Commission won't allow you to materially compensate a person for a review without it being a violation. So you have to say, uh, people who submit reviews, if they are a client, are motivated to do the review. You have to have some sort of disclaimer somewhere, but be careful when you're doing paid reviews. But unsolicited reviews are totally, totally good, and I would really want you to do that. Investing in SEO training, that's a different kind of an issue. For those of you who've been around for a while and are aware of us, we have SEOtraining.com, and it can do an awful lot. I also, out of that, we have both an online and a classroom course. Um, my focus in the online course is not to be an AI online course or to be an AI classroom course. My focus is to get you up to speed and understanding how you use AI and SEO together. That's my course. It takes days, 3 days in the classroom. Um, the online course is, of course, much faster, your own pace. But one of the things that we have done, and I'll just mention it, I think Dylan's going to go over it a little bit more. We just put up this week, we fully put up our certification course. It's listed as a separate course. There's no fee for it, but you have to have taken the course to qualify to take the test. And I'll mention the test is over 1,800 questions. Yeah, 100 are selected at random. You have an hour to take them, which means you better know SEO. Now, in the classroom course, we cover a lot of materials, and people, as Dylan mentioned, we've taught thousands, 5,000, 6,000. I teach it as a master class with SMX. I mean, I have a good curriculum for all of it. But I think that if what we're going to do is get the SERP to show your site, we're going to need to make sure that you understand how the pieces play together and what they're important and how they play. What I'm going to do is turn it over right now to Dylan to comment on it and then get into the Q&A. And as I said, I just finished SMX. There's going to be an opportunity for you to ask some pretty important questions here, some of which I am sure are going to be life-changing. Dylan, why don't you jump in?
Yeah, and training is something that we can't stress enough. It's going to be vital going forward that you keep up to date on what's changing. And as we've been discussing, AI is just a beast that seems like an insurmountable task to take on. And in fact, I'm guessing that the vast majority of you have suffered a downward trend in your website traffic over the last 12 months because of AI. Perhaps you have an SEO team already that's working really hard to figure out how to get you featured in the AI results at the top of the page, almost like we have no choice but to be the featured snippet now, and that's like the only option. And it's just daunting. I mean, not to mention Google now has an entire page that's just AI mode. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's AI mode is now an option on the SERP. And we don't even know yet how many people are using that over the regular results page. I mean, there's so many new features that the SERP is coming out with, and it's stuff that's not even that wasn't even there 6 months ago. I mean, imagine what it's going to look like 6 months from now. This is such a rapid change that we understand is overwhelming, and it's going to be nearly impossible to be seen online anymore unless you know exactly what to do and how to do it. That is where we are at right now. The game has completely changed, and so many people do not understand the new rules. It's just the fact. As an agency, we're helping our clients with this. I mean, this is kind of what we've been focusing on pretty much every day now. But on top of that, Bruce and our team have built something to combat these ongoing changes. And like we've mentioned before, that's our SEO training course. Now, this isn't just a one and done training course and then you're done, because that's not how SEO works. It's actually a membership that keeps you up to date on all these drastic changes that are happening because of AI. It gives you the knowledge you'll need to stay ahead of your competition, because these changes will keep rolling out. And this is such a rapid pace of changes that you really only have the option to take a training course like this, because other training courses are one and done and they're outdated right away. This is a new way of how you do training. It's constantly being updated. And it's really the only way you're going to be able to do it going forward. Now, one of the best things about it is that there's really two ways to take the training course, and Bruce has kind of alluded to it a little bit. Whoops, got ahead of myself. But the first way you can take it is live and in person. So we host a quarterly classroom course that takes place at the Hyatt Regency Hotel here in beautiful Southern California. The course takes about 3 days, like Bruce mentioned, and you get to learn from him in person as your teacher. He'll be covering our entire SEO training curriculum, and you can speak with him directly as you take the course with other students. To be clear, this is not a virtual event. You can't do it remotely. It is in person only. No computers allowed. You're not even allowed to be online as you're taking the course. This is kind of old school. You sit there and you learn as Bruce goes over everything. And that's sometimes the better way to learn, because it requires your full attention, and you're going to need to have your full attention with all the material. So the next dates we are hosting is August 12th through the 14th. That's just under 2 months from now, and there's still plenty of time to plan ahead. So check that out. The second way you can take the training course is online, and that's through our online membership program. And that's with our pre-recorded videos that we have for the entire training course. This means you can take the course at your own pace, and it's just like the in-person training, but this course actually covers it comes with a different set of features. It comes with some live Q&As we do every month. We have Ask Us Anything videos. There's ebooks. There's all kinds of different features that go into that. And again, the live Q&A we do is really the biggest benefit. We're actually hosting one next week, a week from now, for all of our training members, so you can get in front of Bruce and ask your questions just like we're going to do here in a minute. So that's really one of the best benefits here. And if you want to try to figure out all these SEO changes on your own, Godspeed. You do your thing. We hope you can find a way, but this has really been built by the experts, and we believe this is the best way for you to stay up to date on all the AI changes. Now, the really simple way to do this is to sign up to go to seotraining.com/register, and you can choose between the two options. And the best part is that because you all took time out of your day to join us for this webinar, we are actually offering you a special discount. You can join the online training program and get $200 off by using promo code Bruce Clay 2025. That's Bruce Clay 2025, all one word, no spacing, no lowercase letters. However, that promo code is only good until June 27th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you have a little over a week to get that discount. And just to be clear, perfectly clear, that promo code for the online training only applies for the annual membership plan. It's not applicable to our monthly or quarterly plans. So only for the annual membership. So definitely use that promo code. But if you want to do the in-person training in August with Bruce, there is also a promo code for that, and that's $400 off at registration. The promo code is earlybird825 to get $400 off, and you want to be able to do that soon because again, we don't have unlimited number of seats. This is an exclusive event that will fill up and then we may not have any more room. So if you want to do this, definitely do it soon. So make that happen. And again, both training options are available to you. You can take advantage of either one. But if you sign up for the in-person, you actually get access to the online training program for 3 months for free, no extra charge on top of that. So the choice is yours. We kind of prefer the in-person because it's a little bit more exclusive. You get in front of Bruce, you also get access to the online training. But again, either option is fine. You have the discounts available. They are limited time offers, so definitely take advantage of them. But either way, it's a good deal, and there's no better person to be learning from than Bruce. I could spend a lot more time talking about how amazing our training course is, but I'd rather just take this moment before we jump into the Q&A and just emphasize that we are no longer operating like it's business as usual when it comes to SEO. We cannot stress enough how much has changed with search engines and AI, and you need to understand that most people and businesses, they're not ready. They are not ready for what's coming or what's already happening right now. Most websites are going to suffer some major traffic losses from all these AI changes. And we're not just trying to scare you, but most everybody is going to have to completely rethink their entire website. Like that is how monumental this is. Now, the good news is that, I mean, although many people are using AI instead of traditional search engines, people still need to buy stuff. You don't go to ChatGPT to find products. You don't go there to have it choose the product for you. You still have final say on these things. People still need to buy products and services. That just means in order to survive this AI revolution or evolution, however you want to phrase it, your SEO just needs to be better than ever. That's kind of where it is. Like SEO has never been more important than it pretty much is right now. Now, as an agency, we're always happy to speak with you about our SEO services, and if you're interested in that, we believe that that is something that is a great option to you. But either way, training is still a vital component. You need to stay up to date, and you should always assume that changes will be happening. And again, like I mentioned before, SEO is just never done. And we want you all to be as ready as you can so that your business can not just survive these AI changes, but it can thrive. I mean, we don't want you just to, be doing bare minimum. We want you to have a business explosion. I mean, like you're doing great business, and we want that for you. So if you want the gold standard, if you want the gold standard in SEO training, you need to head over to seotraining.com and sign up for our courses. Reach out to us as an agency. We'd be happy to speak with you, and we'd be, happy to help you grow your business. So alrighty, I think that's the end of our presentation. So now we get to the really fun part, which is the Q&A. And the first question that we usually get is, will there be a recording of this? And yes, the answer is yes, there will be a recording of this that we'll send out probably in the next 24 hours, so you can watch this on replay. But yeah, if there's any questions that you all have, I see some are already being kind of submitted. Go ahead and submit them in the Q&A box, and we'll go for about 20 minutes or so, and we'll try and get to as many questions as we can. But you don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions after the presentation. We'd be happy to speak with you about your site or the training or anything just about AI. Just give us a call or reach out to us. All right, Bruce, let's do some questions unless you have any other comments you want to make before we jump into some Q&A.
I think that just as a continuation of one of your comments, if Google were to walk up to us right now and say, we're only going to rank pages that have X number of words, if they were to say that, the disruption to the average website would be astronomical. Well, they didn't say that. What they said is, You should be mentioned in Wikipedia. You should be a brand. You should have notoriety. You should answer questions. If you took that to your website, it's traumatic. It is equally disruptive. Let's put it that way. There's a disturbance in the force. And so, yeah, you really need an orchestrated approach to how am I going to get into AI? And trust me, questions are growing. And 1 year from now, write this down. 1 year from now, whether you're in business or not, depends on whether you act now. Because I'll pretty much guarantee you that a year from now, AI is everywhere and controlling search. So you have got to be prepared to have the search engine understand that you're the expert. And that's what you're going to have to work on. So just a general comment. Yeah, you got to get going. Time is
Yeah,
short.
it's been pretty amazing to see how many people just are not aware of what's happening. Like I mean, they're aware that, oh, AI is kind of like in the way now. It's like, no, 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 you don't understand what you're going to have to do a lot of different things now. This is ground floor, leveling field, everything's different now. And people are just not prepared and they don't know what to do. And we've been working really, really hard the last several months to a year just getting ready for this big change because it's going to change everything. And yeah, our websites are going to have to be revamped. A lot of different things we're going to have to look out for, and a lot of things we don't even know yet. We're having to keep our ear to the ground. That's where training comes into play. Is you want to stay up to date because you're going to suffer some major traffic losses if you're not ahead of that. So just pay attention to that. We want everybody to stay in business and keep their websites moving along. So, but yeah, lots to discuss here. So, Bruce, let's jump into some Q&A. The first question we have here is a little bit of a wordy one, so bear with me. A large multidiscipline .edu website with many contributing blog authors, faculty contributing to that. Assume a blog exists for each academic discipline with 20 to 30 new posts each year. Regarding topical authority, is it recommended to cite the author as an engineering team, nursing team, etc.? Or should individual authors be named even if each person only contributes one or two posts each year?
Both. I could easily say John Smith, senior member of so-and-so team, and actually have it work both ways. But the authority belongs to the individual. Just saying, member of staff doesn't do anything for anybody. So yeah, I would use the individual name. Now, if they're only going to publish once a year, that's parish. That isn't publish. And I would say that you have to have a more robust participation. Now, if the average post is something that is more like a white paper, then treat it separately. But a post is a post. A post can be 1,200 words. It doesn't have to be a novel. And most people are able to do that. So I don't, or you have to question whether they're an authority. So you're going to have to go through the process of figuring that out.
Mhm. Yeah, good question. We've got a lot of questions about blogs in the past. Another question, Bruce, is how can you demonstrate ROI with AI SEO and zero click searches?
Yes. Uh, you know, uh, fine. Let's take it 5 years ago. How did you demonstrate ROI before AI? It isn't zero click searches focus predominantly on information. So an information based, not a transactional based page is where if there is a sufficient answer, they don't need to click through. It still brands you. It still identifies you as an expert, But if your only measurement of success is traffic, then yeah, you didn't get it. If you're, um, but the ultimate question is, what is your conversion point? What is it you believe is a conversion? And that's what has to be counted. You have to know that you are achieving some form of KPI that is appropriate for your business, and that at the end of the day, that's your measurement. It isn't, and by the way, traffic is a horrible measurement. Ranking is a worse measurement, but they are indicators that you're going in a direction that is positive or negative. Yeah, you want to say, my rankings have gone up. Folks, the way the alligator works is impressions are going up and traffic is going down, not because you didn't rank, but because number one is now an extra 150 pixels down the page. I mean, you can't use traffic necessarily or ranking necessarily as a measurement of success. You still have to look at what is a convenient conversion point that has reasonable control um, as a marketing metric. And, you know, a lot of people use leads as an example. Leads are great, but they could be junk. And um, with the world the way it is, half of your leads are going to be AI anyhow. So you got to be careful about what you're doing. Pick a number that matters. Usually it's revenue. By the way, SEO, even SERP visibility as a discipline cannot cause a person to buy from you. The most it can do is influence that person to visit you. Then it's up to your website and your sales team to convert them. So, uh, if you want me to be responsible for your revenue, then your sales team better report to me. And that's not happening. So, yeah, it's kind of a two-edged sword. I mean, I can't be responsible for revenue, but revenue is still the goal. And we're a contributor. And we have to understand that's our role. Our role, your role, my role, everybody's role is to help you make money. And, Dylan's been talking about it. I mean, that's the way it has to work. But it is a synergistic um, effect from all of the players to be involved. And I'd say the only way to do that is identify deeper in the funnel, have a KPI that you reasonably can measure and know that it's a good or bad, but measure everything. Measure your rankings, measure your clicks, measure your impressions, but certainly measure the things that matter to your business.
Well said. Yeah, these are things that, you know, some things don't change in terms of how you're supposed to evaluate, whether it be, the old school way of how do you evaluate, your ROI. But there is a lot of other changes that are happening behind the scenes that we're still learning about. Like we're not sure where things are going to be in 6 months to a year from now, but some things we're pretty sure, like, yeah, it's going to be the same universal truth, which is, how do you measure, your traffic? How do you measure results? How do you measure these things? Some of those things don't change regardless of the methodology of how to get there. All right, Bruce, let's move into the question. I heard several times you speak about e-commerce. Can you comment on using SERP for online service providers? For example, a company providing online dermatology consultation.
That is more than likely a your money or your life environment, YMYL. It is got a requirement for extreme trust. Such sites should not sell adjacent products from the website, although you could have a separate store. So e-commerce is kind of hard. Um, by the way, if you're selling a product and Google somehow looks at the audience for that product and determines it's junk, you may actually suffer ranking loss because your YMYL is low quality. So you have an extreme obligation to understand what's going on. We have seen sites add products just because the margin is high, but the product is terrible. And because of that, they lose their rankings. So you're going to have to understand what you're selling in a YMYL environment. Can you do it? Sure. Um, Anything that's e-commerce is going to be less impacted because it's a transactional platform. It's going to be less impacted by uh, what is top of funnel, which is the questions. If you want your questions, you want to show up top of funnel, you're going to have questions, but never mix a question which is informational with content that is transactional. Have a link to a transactional page, but don't try to have a multi-function page. Um, what really happens is the search engine we've got these monitors and we analyze this up and down all day. If I took a keyword and I pulled the top page from Google and I analyzed those pages, and every one of them is informational. This is a rank brain thing. You can check into it. If every one is informational and your page is mixed or transactional, you lose. That's it. Your purpose is not to inform, your purpose is not high usability. And um, I believe uh, that means that you have to match now the intent of your website with the intent of the query only. Don't mix it. And if you do that, you can have a transactional page, you can get it ranked, don't put ads on it. You can have an informational page that may have ads, provided you know their quality. If these things are bad neighborhoods, don't even touch them. I don't care how much money it makes. Um, but yes, you can do it in a specific environment. Uh, we do it all the time. So if you have a question like that, that's something that maybe you ought to reach out to us about.
Yeah, we're always happy to speak with you about your site, and especially if it's more site specific questions, obviously reach out to us and we'd be happy to talk with you about that. I know we're reaching the top of the hour, but since you all took time out of your day and have some good questions here, we'll go a little bit over. If you can stick with us, that'd be great. We'd be happy to answer some more of these questions. So maybe 10, 15 more minutes and then we'll start to wrap up. Bruce, another question for you is AI generated content safe with adding company specific and authority content for YMYL sites, especially? Or how much should it be touched by human hands in rewriting?
Okay. Well, as you saw in my presentation, we do have a thing called pre-writer.
Mhm.
It was named very specifically. And this is going to be a rant, sorry. But I want you to understand that this is something that I personally feel strongly about. I believe that AI is a tool and not a solution first. You have to use it as a tool. And what AI can do is very, very quickly analyze many things. It can do content gap analysis. It can do persona analysis. It can do so many things. Here's a word for you. I'll bet you have not heard this word from your content team ever, right? Uh, Subliminal. I'll bet nobody has said that to you in years. But you can actually tell chat to take an article and add subliminal messaging to make you more of an expert or more of an authority or to cause them to convert. You can actually say that and it'll rewrite the article. I did it. I couldn't tell the difference, so I asked it to explain why it changed, and it was amazing. So you can do all of that to a content brief, but it still takes voice and style and compliance and integration and the right amount of humor and conversational style and maybe storytelling. That isn't going to be done by AI. Let's just accept that. AI can try, they won't get it right. So, in general, as I said, you have free tokens on prewriter.ai. It creates a brief and then your writer finishes it. I believe that is the only way to do it. And I believe that if a brand were to have AI generate something, the number one problem it faces is that it's not human. One of the most significant tools in our pre-writer is the humanizer. We have been able to take 98% AI down to under 5%, often 0% AI, because there's styles of writing, not your website, but a general style that when it comes from AI, the footprint is all over it, and the search engine can detect it. In general, in the Google Quality Rater guidelines, Google has said AI is basically discouraged. I mean, I'd have to quote it. But AI is last among equals. Folks, yeah, can you do it? Certainly. You might be number 30 out of 30. That's not good enough. You want to do it? Let AI do the research. That's what it's good at. And then let the artist, the writer, finish it. And now you've got something that's stronger and faster in labor time than you would ever get if you just turned it over to a writer and said, just write this from scratch. It saves a lot of time. It's more comprehensive. It covers things that people wouldn't even think about. No writer's block, no blind spots. Content gap analysis is done. Persona is done. I mean, a lot of things. As I said, our main routine that builds a brief is 152 steps. You're not going to get a writer to do that, not this century. You have to have AI doing AI stuff. And then you have to have a writer doing writer stuff. Simply put, that's what I think is very important.
Yeah, and I'll share a quick, just very, very quick story because I think it's important to note this as well, which is, and we've talked about this before, when you're creating anything with AI content, whether it be an image or a page, whatever it is, if you're using AI tools and you're just simply putting the AI content out there, you're gambling with negative sentiment from the users because AI is still a very controversial thing. And just a quick story, I don't want to share the context of it, but on social media, I made a comment on a post about AI being used for something that I think would be good. Like I have three young kids, and I wanted to say, like, oh, I think AI would be a good use case for something like that. And I got raked over the coals for that comment. I had people, and again, I can't mention half the things that people said to me, but there was so much vitriol and hatred. And I'm not joking. Like it literally, some people were calling for my death. Like it was that intense. So I'm sharing this because I want you all to be very aware that if you are posting something that is anything AI generated, you better have humanized that thing because there is so much hatred for AI generated content out there. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people really hate it. But you have to be very careful of that. And that's where pre-writer comes into play, is because we are aware that AI is a great tool, but it's not a solution. You need to have the humanized element in there. It can speed up the process, it can make things much faster for you and make it even the content better, but you still need that human element because if that human element's not there, you will get so much vitriol from at least a good portion of people. So just be careful. Cautionary tale. I have experienced a lot of backlash with just even an innocent thing about wanting something for my kids. So just be aware of that for your businesses. There's a lot of hatred out there for AI stuff. So always humanize. And pre-writer is a great tool for that. All right, next question, Bruce. According to SEMrush, when ChatGPT searches, or sorry, let me phrase it. When ChatGPT search sites web pages, the pages it cites rank in traditional organic search positions 21 plus for related queries almost 90% of the time. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, if Chad is answering a question, then I think it's the nature of that action that causes things to even be close. By the way, I don't know how many people have actually done this. If you want to know how many results there are for a query, when you do a query, it used to just show how many results there were. If you go over to the right side where it says tools and drop it down, the bottom line is where they put the results now. So you can look at any keyword in a query, go to tools, drop it down, and see how many competitors there are or results there are for that particular keyword, which is kind of handy. Um, Fine. If you answer the question, it doesn't say you shouldn't rank. It just says if you answer the question and your AI, you'll rank below the human generated answers. And trust me, we've analyzed five or I guess the top five, top six testing routines. By the way, they all report something different. One of them will report really well for transactional pages, but it's terrible for information pages. And some are vice versa. So there is no one size fits all. Um, and as another story, we had a page that was 100% human, tested 100% human. We ran it through Grammarly, and at the end of that, it came out 94% human. Because if you're too perfect, it's obvious a human didn't do it. So, yeah, this isn't total science here, you know. Um, doesn't do you any good to measure it with a micrometer if you're going to cut it with an axe. You have no choice but to do your best, but understand tomorrow it might change.
Mhm. Tomorrow might change, and it probably will, considering how many changes we've had to go through. All right, another question. I know conversion rates depend upon what kind of field you might be in. However, what's an average conversion rate compared to a good conversion rate in general?
You're absolutely right to say it depends. Um, in some industries where the ticket item is very, very high, um, what matters is where do people enter the funnel. Now, this is a marketing answer. If they enter the top of the funnel, if that is the only data you have and they come in through the top, your conversion rate is going to be pretty small. If people enter at the bottom of the funnel, your conversion rate is going to be pretty high. So it is less about the industry and more about how you deal with your client. And that's going to really be influenced by your content and how you address personas. So I'm going to go on another mini rant. Google had done their I/O and they had announced all this stuff, and AI mode and personalization was a big part of this announcement. And it turns out that if I do a search, Google will look at my Gmail account, my YouTube account, and my um, query history and all the stuff that Google can collect about me, and it'll interrogate it to find out what am I really searching for. And it will use AI to try to figure out how to get the best answer for what I really wanted. And it's looking at all my other Google properties to do that. Well, I'm building a website. I have no idea about those 10,000 people that are going to visit my site this month, or 100,000 or whatever. I have no knowledge about their personal history. Okay. What we do is we take the keyword. Actually, what we do is we take a web page that ranks for the keyword. Usually it's one of your web pages, and it's page by page. Understand that part. We pull 12 personas. We pull the pain points for 12 personas, and we lace all those pain points into one page so that no matter where they are in the funnel, there's something on the page for them. Now, it's pretty advanced stuff. A writer wouldn't do that necessarily unless they were really trained. An SEO wouldn't integrate it unless they know to rewrite the page. Um, I'll even go one step further. We have QCTAs. An average CTA, people have learned to skip over. But if you take the pain point and rewrite it as a question and put that question in your content and link to a converting page, you have a higher conversion rate. That's what we do. That's what that's what is needed for the personalization. However, nobody else is doing that. We can double conversion rates, but nobody else is doing that. So, what is the right conversion rate? My target is not less than 10%, but you have to be able to understand how to write for the funnel. That's really the number one thing. If you offer the right product, your conversion rate could be 100%. Depends on how much pain they're in.
How much?
Not that you want to cause pain, but that is an issue.
And it's something to consider, right? All right, maybe let's do one more question, Bruce, and then we'll wrap up. A lot of smaller orgs like nonprofits have shifted to CMS tools, like HubSpot, to reduce uncached dynamic queries and reduce the weight, cost of their sites or shared server slash hosting plans. Does this strategy work with the evolving AI influence?
All right. So what you need to understand is that no search, including AI, but especially like Google and things like that, they never click. So if the content shows by virtue of a click, you may have problems. The search engines do something uh, which is different from 20 years ago. They don't just fetch HTML, they actually run it through a headless browser, build what's called a document object model, and then they analyze that model because it has already run the JavaScript and run the building of the page. So in theory, you're not going to see any kind of a price, nor pay any kind of a price for anything that you're doing. You're not. So, yeah, we use HubSpot. I just don't like using HubSpot as a website. We do our own websites, but we use Hubs. We use them for forms, tracking, client management, things like that. But that's where we focus. We don't really go crazy doing a lot of exotic stuff, and I would never, ever, ever write a website that is in a proprietary environment hosted where I don't have enough control to move it
Mhm.
or it's painful to move it. That's not what I want. So that's just me.
Just all right. These are all really great questions. We really appreciate it. And again, we love speaking to you guys and presenting all this stuff because we really do sincerely care and want people to thrive in their businesses. This is what we have been doing for 30 years now. This is what we love to do. We're going through a massive, massive change, one that we haven't seen in quite some time with AI. We hope this has been very beneficial to everybody here. But of course, we welcome everybody to sign up for our training courses, whether in person or online. You have the promo codes. And yes, we will be sending this recording out in the next 24 hours, along with the slides. The slides will probably be later in the week. But you'll have all the presentation here and you can review all that stuff there. But please, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to us. We have a lot of great things for you. We have our SEO services, we have Pre-Writer as a tool, we have the training courses. We have a lot of great stuff here that you could utilize to help your business grow. So please reach out if you want some help. We'd be happy to speak with you. Bruce, any parting words before we say goodbye to all of our attendees?
Um, well, you said it right. This is a highly volatile environment right now.
Mhm.
Everybody is changing everything.
Yeah.
Um, I used to say about SEO that every Monday it's a new industry. If we're talking about AI, it's every hour is a new industry. Um, and what works today, what worked a month ago, AI mode just rewrote. Personalization just rewrote. The fact that your site is almost positively going to lose traffic if you don't fix it uh, is pretty certain. But I can almost guarantee everybody that's listening that 1 year from now, if you didn't do something to fix it, and I mean really do something, uh, you you can't count on digital for anything unless you're buying ads. So I would get moving.
Mhm. Yeah, we have a lot of business secrets that we can't share because it's part of our business. But again, this is the things that we have been working on in the background to get everybody ready for these massive changes. I mean, there's a lot to take on here, and I just don't think people realize what this is yet. Like it's going to be big. So get ready. We hope we can help you. Please, again, reach out. Here's all our contact information on the slides. But we hope this has been beneficial, and we hope to hear from you all soon. And yeah, I hope you have all a good rest of your day, and we'll be talking with you soon.